Howdy, howdy. I know I'm very behind the times. This podcast came out, I think it was at least a week ago, probably over a week ago. But I've been drowning. I've been drowning in work. So I haven't had a chance to, I wanted to actually sit and give my full attention. Give my full attention as it deserves. And then I figured if I was going to sit and give it my full attention as it deserves, we can watch it together. Because then I can sit and give you the full attention you deserve. I am drowning in Peak. That's true. That's unironically true. Yeah, I'm eating too good. I'm eating too good lately. Between freaking E-Day and Final Fantasy 11 and all these other announcements that I'm pretty excited about. I mean, like, I'm not excited. E-Day is everything for me right now, but I'm also consuming way more YouTube than usual. You heard her, Jeff. Delay Horizon for another 3 years. No! Usually, well, I was gonna say at work, back in the day, when I wasn't managing people, when I wasn't, like, interfacing with people so much, I would listen to, like, audiobooks, because I love audiobooks, or I would listen to music, or sometimes I would listen to streams in the background, but now it's like, I'm not at my desk for more than, like, 2 seconds before I'm talking to someone again. So I never have the chance to listen to stuff. Otherwise, I probably would have listened to this podcast. It was a pure miracle that I was able to watch the Nintendo Direct. I blocked out my schedule like I had a call. I blocked out my schedule like I had a call, and that's how I was able to watch. But I can't do that all day, every day, unfortunately. But yeah, I used to watch a lot of stuff, or like at least listen to a lot of stuff while I was working. But I can't really do that anymore, just because of the nature of becoming a more senior moose. But now the deal is when I go get coffee, when I go into the office kitchen and brew myself up some coffee, I usually have a little bit while the coffee's cooking. while the coffee's boiling or whatever it is, and I will hit a couple of Gears related, like, YouTube news, either videos or shorts or whatever, and so I watch them while I'm waiting at the coffee maker now. Yeah, my 2 pots a day. So I've been watching a lot of, like, speculation videos and people, like, dissecting the footage we've seen so far. So I'm actually really excited to see the podcast, because I think it's like 45 minutes long. So I haven't had a 45-minute coffee making sesh. Which I'm sure is shocking. There we go. X. I just misspelled Xbox. We're starting off really strong. Oh my god, all the videos are like news stuff. I'm not looking for that. Here we go. Here's the stuff. Here's the goods. All right, now let's get this on the screen for you guys. Uh-oh, looks like the coffee maker isn't working correctly. So true. That was me during the direct. I was like, my computer's acting weird. I can't get this footage of Xenoblade off my monitor. That's crazy. Shoutouts to our new viewer, Unlucky Cat. Jesus Christ. I forgot to add you, sorry. It's been crazy. I haven't even uploaded my VODs. I was looking at all of my like uploaded but not like cleaned up and scheduled VODs today, and I was like, I'll get to it eventually. I'll get to it someday. The best way. Yeah, we are so back, guys. Alright, here we go. I put it on the wrong... I put myself on the wrong part of the screen. Give me a second! Whoopsie! There we go. Drag myself over here. To actually look in the right direction. There we go. Alright, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm gonna freak out. Actually, I mean, I'm obviously known as a bit of a gamer at the office. And one of the Zoomers asked me today, or asked me not today, but a few days ago, like, oh, I know there were a bunch of, like, there's one of those big game summer announcement things. Was there anything you're really excited about? And I was like, fucking Gears of War E-Day, buddy! And so I was, like, ranting about how he needed to check out Gears of War, and he's like, he's young. He's like young. He's a baby. And so he was like, oh, I was kind of a little bit too young when those games came out for me. But he was like, I'm like willing to look into it. And so he was basically like, sell me on it. And so I was kind of ranting a little bit. And then all of a sudden in the middle of the workday, out of nowhere, he just came up to my desk and he was like, that's the roadie run game. And I was like, how is that what you took away from our conversation? And like, how did you like mentally identify it as the roadie run game with no other like he was all of a sudden like, oh yeah. The best part about Gears, you can own the entire series for under $20. That's true. It's very accessible. But yeah, so I've been selling it pretty hard to my coworkers who I know play games. The one who got really into like I think he was super into like Arc Raiders or something. I was like, bro, if you're open to campaign modes, or even, you know, if you just want to play PvP or Horde mode, I was like, do I have a game for you? And he was like, okay. Just like the saleswoman now. Alright, here we go. Oh, I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm nervous. Oops, we can't hear anything. At least I can't hear anything. I don't know if you guys know. It's because it's muted. On what grounds? Let me know if the volume's okay. I really hope they make a pendulum war game one day. I do too, actually.
Games in this podcast.
What the? Now it's coming over the wrong speakers. Games in this podcast. There was a woman.
Range from E to M.
There she is.
Everybody, welcome to the official Xbox podcast, the only podcast coming to you from inside Xbox, or today, inside the Coalition Studios in Vancouver, Canada, where we're going to get our first deep dive look at Gears of War.
This hallway's so cool.
Games in this podcast range from E to M.
Everybody, welcome to the official Xbox podcast, the only podcast coming to you from inside Xbox, or today.
Oh, actually, one last thing before we settle in. I want to make sure I'm on the right account so we don't get like ad breaks. I'm on the right account. Okay. I'm a disgusting animal who pays for YouTube Premium because I fall asleep to YouTube too much. And if I don't pay for YouTube Premium, I get woken up by that fucking Liberty Bibberty guy, and it pisses me off.
The Coalition Studios in Vancouver, Canada, where we're going to get our first deep dive look at Gears of War E-Day. Let's check it out.
Oh, the Carmine. Cute!
This week, we learned a ton about Gears of War E-Day at the Xbox Game Showcase and the Gears Focus Direct, which followed right afterwards. But I will say one of the things we always hear from players in the comments, they love to see pure gameplay video to really get a feel for what is coming their way. And, well, that's what we have for you right now. And even better, in order to help us break this down, we are joined from, people who are making this game. Aryan, Nicole, Matt, how are you doing? Great?
Good. Yeah, really good.
And so it's been a little while since I've been here. It's been, I think it was like 2019. We were, for Gears 5, we brought a bunch of people up here. In the back. And it's great to be back. But one of the things I will say is, I'm seeing familiar faces and I'm seeing new faces. So, how have things been up here at the Coalition? What's evolved and changed over the past 7 years?
I mean, it's been a journey making E-Day, and it started really after we finished Gears 5 and Tactics. We shipped a bunch of things just afterwards, and around that time, we were looking at what the next game was going to be.
Around the Tactics
but
is
also
2020.
Right around that time, the world went into a big change. The pandemic hit. So at our studio, we had a chance to reflect on Gears and the franchise. We talked to fans. We sort of explored what the game meant to us. At the same time, we had this crew that had been building games together for a decade or more, and specifically Gears. So we had deep affinity, obviously, with the franchise. People love it, but also a bunch of experience. And then through the pandemic, we did this reflection on the franchise. We picked our direction on E-Day, and we had this cool influx of new energy and people that joined the studio, along with some.
Well, I just want to adjust slightly. Also, Fiction for Eternity, thank you for the super chat. Do you think it's possible for an open world game to have 6 detailed, lived in, somewhat fully explorable cities with satisfying, destructible environments? I mean, that sounds really big, but I'm sure somebody could pull it off. Already super interesting to me. I keep forgetting that. Yeah, Tactics and Hive Busters were 2020.
We sort of explored what the game meant to us. At the same time, we had this crew that had been building games together for a decade or more, and specifically Gears. So we had deep affinity, obviously, with the franchise. People love it, but also a bunch of experience. And then through the pandemic, we did this reflection on the franchise. We picked our direction on E-Day, and we had this cool influx of new energy and people that joined the studio, along with some of the people that had been working together for so long. So yeah, lots of change, lots of familiar faces, lots of awesome energy, and driving towards this vision we had for E-Day, and finally getting to near the finish line and getting to show it to people.
That's awesome. One of the things as we were walking into this room, I noticed a mural which
yeah.
the one that says "Never Fight Alone."
Yeah.
I would love to know what that means to the Coalition.
Yeah, there's a lot of new murals. It's fantastic to see us kind of put that up into the studio, because we've really elevated over the past few years as kind of like a mantra inside the team. It's kind of always been around for Gears. It's been a tagline sometimes, but it actually was in like a design doc way, way, way back, and it really was kind of meant to describe co-op play. But over time, it's just taken on a lot more meaning for us in terms of, why we build Gears, the stories that we tell in our games, the values that we have as a team and how we work as a team and how we support each other. And then also kind of what's going on, with our fans and how they relate to the game and the stories. And ultimately, it's just about like having each other's backs and like getting through life. And, it's a really nice rallying call to everything that we do. And it kind of brings everything home in terms of what Gears means to us and to fans and yeah, just, what we're making.
How is the team feeling here in the final stretch before launch this fall?
I think the team's feeling pretty good. This is kind of the time where we've put in a ton of effort, but the finish line starts to show itself. And I think that's really invigorating because you start to realize that all the hard work we've done, it's gonna come out soon, and people will get to see it. So I personally, I'm feeling pretty invigorated. Like I said, we have been cranking for a long time. I'm sure fans are wondering what took so long, but we just, I think as you start to see the product come together, you start to get the sense of, whether you've fulfilled all the promises you made 4 or 5 years ago in pre-production. I think we've done that. So I'm quite excited. It's an exciting time right now.
And it's exciting for us and for me, because now we are going to apply Never Fight Alone to watching together as we see this new gameplay video. So what do you say? Should we
I
jump
want
in?
an art book. Yeah. Like the art direction is so good. From everything I've seen, I love the art direction. Like I want an art book with the concept art.
Stay sharp. Don't let them surround you.
Cool. So we're in, and what's really cool about this very first moment in the demo is this is quite early in our game. This is the moment these Gears Bravo Squad pick up a gun for the first time. So we give you a snub off this police car, and the shit has just hit the fan. So you're seeing the chaos
snubs.
as a player the exact same way Marcus and Dom and everybody else is seeing it.
Yeah, and it was really important for us as like a first gameplay reveal to drop you like right into that first night of chaos, right into the invasion and pay that off.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing to notice is just the challenge we had where we had to build a city that's
Wait,
actually...
sorry, I know I'm like already like. Can you guys see my cursor? I know that I'm already being annoying. So obviously like this is the snub ammo. What is this? Is this our like whatever's in the grenade slot and the frag slot? I don't remember. Yeah, maybe it's what's in the frag. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm curious about this. Because, yeah, there's a few, like, UI changes I'm kind of curious about. I hope we'll have comics on the 2 new members of the squad. I know. I'm, like, already so interested in them. I was a little bummed when the announcement was E-Day instead of 6. Get the I was so excited. Like, I was expecting it to be Gear 6, and I would have been like, yeah, Gear 6, woo! And I would have been like, hype, but E-Day is like, they made it for me!
This is quite early in our game. This is the moment these Gears Bravo
Yeah,
Squad pick
I'm
up a
really
gun
excited
for the first time.
about
So we
Lucas,
give you a snub
actually.
off this police car.
He's like
and
giving
the
my
shit has
boy.
just hit the fan. So you're seeing the chaos as a player the exact same way Marcus and Dom and everybody else is seeing it.
Yeah, and it was really important for us as like a first gameplay reveal to drop you like right into that first night of chaos,
Yeah.
right into the invasion.
I don't
and pay
know.
that off.
I don't know if I love like the center of the screen active reload. Like my eyes, when I'm like feeling that I'm running out of ammo, my eyes will like naturally go up here. Like as he's shooting, my eyes are looking up here to check the ammo. So I feel like it's gonna, like my eyes are gonna want to do that. And they said that there's an option to put it up there. So I just wish that like I could see it in the footage.
For us as like a first gameplay reveal to drop you like right into that first night of chaos, right into the invasion and pay that off.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing to notice is just the challenge we had where we had to build a city that's actually alive. In every other Gears game, all the shit's already happened and the cities are all destroyed, which is so much easier to build. But the amount of detail we've got to cram in so that players will actually, credibly believe that this is a living, breathing city that
It
we're about
does.
to rip apart.
It looks
We
much
actually
more
saw
alive.
like a survivor running away. Like, I'm not used to seeing like other
some
people.
get away. Some people
Yeah,
get
yeah,
away.
there's so many
don't.
people.
There's so much stuff going on in this very first moment. There's wretches climbing up the train tracks. There's one on the bottom of the subway. They're like, you get a sense of like, not everybody, the characters, and even what we wanted here was that people can't take in how much just
Wait.
craziness is going on in this city as the monsters attack.
Yeah, I think another
I
cool
see.
thing is, well, maybe not cool, but no matter how hard you try, you can't save everyone in this first street. You're just walking through, you might be shooting a couple wretches off people, but there's 3 or 4 other ones eating people beside you. So that's a pretty important feeling because they're pretty underpowered right now, and the invasion is pretty heavy duty. So
Marcus and Dom were at the bar having a drink.
Yeah, you're seeing Marcus.
Me and
you're
the
seeing Marcus
boys.
and Dom in their cash.
I know, I'm like
outfits.
nice to see. By the way, I will say like the brown jacket,
They're
right
rocking
on
the-
point.
I would not take a photo next to him. It wouldn't look so great for
Yeah,
me.
you would look
That
skinny
was
next to
a
him.
really fun exercise to try to figure out what these people would wear. Like we all know them in their armor, but we don't know them as casuals.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
wonder
logic
how
in
they're
life,
gonna
but maybe,
approach
like,
the
it's like a
Carlos
football
stuff.
player without their pads in.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, Gears are always ripped. They're always kind of bigger than everybody else. It's just part of it. But it was a really fun exercise to go like, what would Marcus wear to a bar? And like, there's some really cool details, right? Like his cog tags are under his nice tight.
Oh yeah, you can see him.
And also like, he never takes off his bandana. Like little details
He's
like
got
that.
a chain
He's got a
wallet.
wallet
He
chain.
felt like that would be appropriate for Marcus.
Backing it up, you mentioned this is Bravo Squad. Who am I seeing here besides Marcus and Dom?
Right. So we have Marcus and Dom, obviously, and 2 new characters. So Megs Carter, who's a veteran of the Pendulum Wars. She's from Kelowna. She's working in the emulsion refineries now. She's sort of like returned to the brotherhood she had before, but she's the person who's seen the most in battle. And then we've got Lucas Reyes. He's a rookie. He's a comms officer who actually never made it to the front, like very competent, and he had sort of dreams of glory, but never made it there. And these 4 people,
I
in this
love them
first moment,
immediately.
they just happen to be in the same place, but these are 4 Gears who, when it breaks out, they run towards the threat while everyone else is running away.
So I see active reload is back, which
Yeah.
thank you. It hasn't always been in the middle of the screen like that, has
It's
it?
No.
never been in the middle of the screen. Yeah, we obviously this is a game built from scratch. Like it's a new game built to feel like Gears, but it is new. So there will be some things that feel very familiar, some things that are new, and some things that are just a little bit different and evolved. And one of them was active reload. It's such a staple of Gears games. It's like adds to the tension of reloading your weapon, how you manage your weapon, whether or not you're going to jam it, get extra damage. And honestly, it's so central to the experience that sometimes we find new players lose it in the top corner. And it's part of your aim experience. And it makes the most sense to put it where you're aiming.
Yeah,
where-
for new
where you're
players, I
firing.
can see.
And there's some cool new stuff tucked in the active reload. I don't know if everybody caught it.
No, what is it?
So you can see in this demo, when we use the Nasher in there, some of our weapons now have single shell loading. So you can see each shell load in the active reload bar. And actually you can interrupt your reload to fire a shell immediately and basically trade off having a smaller clip to get your shot out at a time of
that's
urgency if
cool.
you need it.
Yeah.
That's useful.
To Matt's point, the other thing that when you see in a demo, we
so you
take
can, like,
some things
shoot-
away from the screen.
you can panic shoot in the middle
just
of
so we get
loading.
this kind of full screen experience
for
of the
cinematic
game.
purposes, yeah.
Totally. So obviously the Omen is back, in terms
As
of
you're
like
taking
health
damage.
Yep. You see your weapon up at the top. We've kept that for the demo, but just we wanted to show the game full screen so you kind of get that cinematic immersive experience. But all those kind of signature things are obviously back.
Okay, let's jump into this this next scene then.
Okay.
Let me see what I can do.
I'm at the fan safe. I need backup.
These cars remind me, like, I feel like there's pictures of my parents leaning against
Yeah.
cars that look like
Yeah.
these.
So that's kind of on purpose. One of the things we thought about a lot at the
Marcus's
beginning of this
leg
journey was,
holster's so
what the style of
cool.
the city was going to be, and we're kind of going back in a way to fill in a hole in the story of the lore of of E-Day. So this sort of nostalgic vibe felt right. And to go with that, you know, cars that felt like they're from the 70s. The city has a, you know, New York in the 70s was sort of our inspiration. So it just felt right. Everything feels a little bit older and a little bit clunkier, which kind of aligns with the Gears vibe anyway.
I mean, it is a different time
We love
period, so
chunk.
pulling elements of Earth nostalgia and Sarah nostalgia together was a really great way to make us feel like we'd gone back in time to a world that frankly nobody's actually seen, right? Like we've never shown pre-E-Day Sarah before.
And now we know the price of gas was much lower.
That's right. And the other advantage is most of these cars from that era are really blocky, and that obviously helps with cover.
Yeah, I will say actually one of the cool things that you just get a glimpse of in here and maybe a bit more in our Dev Direct is building E-Day in a city. We chose to put it in one city. Ultimate Gears playground. Like in a game that's all about cover, you get just this huge range of options, cars, buildings,
Planters.
destruction, planters, trains, all sorts of things that make sense. And then we rip the ground up and we make all these organic shapes. So you can actually see in that sequence there where the corpser comes out of the ground, one of our new cover types, we have low ground cover. So you can see Marcus
Where he like lays on
all
the
way
ground
down
here.
to the ground and take this like low stance and crawl along it. So we have some cover that's a little more hectic, a little more dangerous. And of course you'll see in other footage
it looks so cool.
and how we move, a lot more fluid.
I love his leg holster.
All sorts of things. So we were able to open the range of cover types, create more organic spaces that you can move and flow through without losing that fundamental part of Gears, which is cover is life. Like that's how you live.
Yeah, it's just not all waist-high cover.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that this shows, and I'll throw it to Matt, is you get to see Slide. You get to see Marcus slide.
Oh, right
Yeah, so there's a couple moments in here. So we've added Slide to the game. The movement for E-Day is built from scratch. There's nothing that we ported from past Gears. First thing we did was try to make sure we hit what Gears feels like, right? How it feels to go into cover, keep the heaviness. But it was important to us that we added more fluidity. So there are some obvious changes. The sprint camera has moved out so that you get a little more visibility. You can run a little bit more. And tying to run, we added Slide to the game. And Slide lets you sort of tie in that fluidity to a bunch of cool opportunities. You can slide into cover, obviously. You can slide under some things, under trucks and through gaps and things. Or you can see sort of in this demo, we slid past a planter and then kind of popped ourselves into cover really fluidly.
I want to slide between a Brumok's legs.
Of Gears. We've got that core center of movement around cover and choice. And then we try to layer these new movement mechanics sort of around it to just give you more options and really an experience that just feels like Gears, but more modern.
I wonder if the game will end with Prescott using the Hammer of Dawn on the city, so I forgot if he used it earlier, not during the war. He used it about a year into the invasion. He used it like almost a year after E-Day, and it was like when they take our cities, they're taking our technology and resources, so it was like a little bit of like asset denial. But then obviously, like, asset denial, and, we kill a bunch of people. And, like, permanently damage the ecosystem. But, sometimes that happens. Could you say her? I'm a house. I want to slice between a Brumok's legs. Yeah, I want to slide between his legs. See, I think that's more reasonable than trying to slide between, like, a Boomer's legs. Like, I think that would be too tight a fit. But a Brumok's legs, I could see myself easily just, like, sliding through those bad boys. It wouldn't even be a challenge. Not even a challenge for me.
Oh, we slid past
Number
the planter
one
and then kind of
Brumok
popped
fan.
ourselves into cover really fluidly. It's in addition to the core of
God
Gears.
forbid a
We've got
man
that
have
core center of
hobbies.
movement around cover and choice, and then we try to layer
They
these
did
new
win,
movement
right? So
mechanics
true.
sort of around it to just give you more options and really an experience that just feels like Gears, but more modern, I guess, more dynamic.
From the reaction, I'm assuming they had never seen a corpser before, because I think they're like, what the fuck is that?
I think that's the first one in the game.
Yeah,
That was,
the first full view. Yeah.
I mean,
I definitely heard
see
in one of the scenes,
arms
what the
of it
fuck is
kinda
that?
come out when the Skytrain goes down, But
Which
yeah,
is
there's
so
a lot
cool.
of, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
We get to experience the locust the way the squad does. So there is a ton of, in this game, there is a lot of, holy, what the shit?
Base.
What else would you say?
There's
Yeah.
I mean, this demo
what I'd
does
say.
jump time just a little bit through a mission. Obviously, we're kind of cutting out.
Yeah.
But there is a cool little sequence you see there where rookie Lucas spots the legs first when the train collapses.
Yeah.
Tries to call them out and nobody else saw it. And then it comes up later.
You see that? There's something big. Like huge crap.
Yeah, look at Marcus is covered in blood. Oh, yeah.
We need to keep moving through the underpass.
I think we have a beat in that mission earlier where he's like, I told you,
He's like, I
giant fucking spider legs. And like,
Exactly.
We also saw the retro Lancer, I guess in this era, the current Lancer.
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Not retro, just Lance.
just
Just
Lancer.
Lancer.
Yeah. And I saw you kept like the you know,
Bandit charge.
for me, one of the most
Yeah.
satisfying, you do the charge
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the
The impaling. Yeah.
impaling.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the things you see there when you did that execution is that Marcus gets covered in blood when
Yeah.
that moment happens.
Yeah.
So we've put in a few extra things to allow you to see kind of the world touches you as a player and you touch the world. And you can see that on the player themselves. We do that throughout the campaign as well with blood and dirt. So in different moments, the blood level on the character will go up and then it'll go down. Same with dirt. So in previous gears, we've always had super shiny armor and it looks really good and it looks great in HDR and everything. But I think this is just another level of sort of believability that just kind of removes that barrier and people feel like they're more immersed in what's going on around them.
Feels super satisfying when you're doing Nasher shots and you're just getting like covered.
Covered.
Yeah,
Head to toe in
yeah,
blood.
I agree.
It's always been a
I
game
want to
that
be
people use
showered.
the term visceral, and now you
Yep.
have
For
sure.
viscera.
Yeah, it's the
Into
next
it.
level of
to
that, yeah, for sure.
Is this one of those things?
Get
I
me
know,
goopy.
The Coalition is known as being like perhaps like the best Unreal Engine, like the best chops in UE
Perhaps.
out there. I'm trying to give some people, I don't want everyone to feel bad.
Just
Okay,
kidding.
the best with the Unreal Engine are these things that are now possible because of your mastery of Unreal Engine 5, or is it just like
Maple's
choice that-
fatality
I
with
think
her
some of this
antlers.
stuff is just an evolution of what we've done before. Like, you know, for example, the blood and dirt. I don't think there's anything inherently in the engine that's allowed us to do that now. So there's a whole bunch of stuff where we've done this a few times now and now we're like one-upping it. But there's definitely tons of stuff we've done in this game that is tied to the tech that's available in Unreal.
Yeah, I think the evolution of like, you know, there's some stuff that for sure is just creative direction, deciding to do E-Day. I think the biggest thing we benefited from is the city. We made Kelowna so we could experience this global event in our lore at a very intimate scale and see the story of one place. And as a result, we basically built a whole city. like the identity of the city, the detail, the people, right down to this micro destruction and everything that's going on there. So we get that. But we literally built Kelowna. Like you can pull the camera up in the engine and look, and the city is there. And so every time you're in a level, you're looking somewhere else. Like it's the actual location of that other place, which I don't know that we could have done that before. And I think that's probably, you know, there's a long list of technology that's come with UE5 or we built here that has kind of allowed this whole package. But that's the thing that's benefited the most.
And not just build a city, but build a city to destroy it.
Yeah, and rip it apart. Build a city and rip it apart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a static set, right? You're going to
You're gonna see it
experience this
fall.
world. You're going to see it fall. You're going to see the spectacle moments. You're going to traverse back into areas that.
Yeah, for the Clayton stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure. I am curious to see like what karma, like if we'll get any of the Carmines, but I have seen some people speculating. I've seen people speculating on like Twitter or on YouTube that there will be like, even though we're starting on Marcus and Dom, a lot of people have been like, oh, maybe we'll like hear Baird or Cole on the radio, or there'll be like a Baird or Cole cameo. But Baird like joined on E-Day, and Cole didn't join until a little bit after E-Day because Cole was a thrashball player at this point, and his family died during E-Day, and so then he joined up, and because he was such a popular thrashball player, it caused like a surge in enlistment. Because everyone was just like, hell yeah, Coltrane, woo woo. So like, I mean, me of all people, I want to see my boys because they're my beloved boys that I love forever. But at the same time, I don't like, they weren't Gears yet, you know? So I don't think they wouldn't be in this context, I guess. I mean, they would be like civvies, but they're probably like, you know, not around.
That were intact, and there'll be smoking ruins, and you'll see kind of that that loss, and that really helps kind of like deepen the story and deepen the sadness and the you know, the gravity of what happened and what Emergence Day was.
Yeah, I think that was an important thing for us, was to make the city feel like another character in our game, so that when you see it get destroyed, you actually feel something. You know, it's not just a set; it's actually a living, breathing character in our game that now is getting.
Oh, the coal posters in the bar scene,
And in previous Gears games, everything's already destroyed. Exactly. It's just constant rubble, and it almost you become
you never get to see it destroyed.
You're walking through the history of a place that fell a decade ago, right?
There's more to pick apart in this scene, so let's play it back one more time.
What NFL defensive star with the Coltrane equivalent? I don't know anything about sports ball.
These things are all over me.
More tremors.
Any gears out there? Anyone that can...
This is a cool moment, actually, because you see the police department there. It's part of this idea of the first night. They're just looking for help wherever they can. But this moment where the corpse rips through the ground, I think is a really awesome example of how we treat e-holes. We have, you know, the systemic ones that you close with frag grenades, but we also have these spectacle ones that just open up and sort of dump enemies out into space and collapse parts of buildings and cover you with smoke, which is just such a cool way to flood the city with this chaos.
And like the red.
Other thing that's new for us with e-holes is sort of this color red.
Yeah.
The red light that pours out of every e-hole. We sort of made this commitment early in pre-pro that red would be, you know, the e-hole color. We try to avoid using red anywhere else as much as we
really
could,
like it,
and
actually.
we keep it as primary and strong as we can, which is kind of a bit of a challenge because it's not an easy color to work with. But basically, whenever you see red like this in the game, it's either an e-hole or it's danger. And I think after a while, that just subconsciously taps into the players. And when they see it, they're just going to know there's danger ahead. Of course, red is already associated with, you know, something bad or, you know, stop, you can't go, or danger. So it just kind of worked together. And it floods the space with red light, which is really cool. You get a real big change. And
I like
you
the
can't
glow.
really do that kind of stuff if you don't have, you know, the power in the engine to let you do it.
One of the cool things in that moment where they pour out too, and you see across this demo, we're seeing the beginning of this invasion that we unroll through E-Day, right? And so the very first enemies we see here are wretches, but they're not armored the way you normally see wretches in Gears games. And that's because we're seeing sort of that first wave of shock troops come through the city. These like almost like attack dogs, the way the Locusts use them. So one of the cool opportunities we had creatively was we get to go back to the Locusts, but reintroduce them to Gears fans. Like, what would it be like to see a wretch without armor come out and be used as this sort of like massive monster
creepy
invasion force? But we're introducing these enemies to the characters in the game, so they're reacting. And anybody who's coming to a Gears game for the first time is getting to experience the Locust the way Marcus and Dom experienced it, right? Like seeing a wretch for the first time, seeing a drone for the first time, seeing them pick up a gun for the first time. Like that stuff's all in the first night of E-Day, which is really cool.
Yeah, they kind of go from like, are these animals to are these monsters to like,
they're using guns,
they
smart.
say die groundwalkers.
Yeah.
They
Groundwalkers.
Talk, Marcus. Like there's a line
There's an
Dom has in
army
there.
here, so it's really cool to do that progression.
Yeah, one cool little tidbit about those wretches is they look like a skinnier, like malnourished version of a real wretch. And the thinking was we wanted the beginning to feel a little bit like a zombie movie. There's just armies of them coming. And so what we thought is, what if they took all these wretches, put them in cages, didn't feed them, turned them into hungry, rabid attack dogs, and then released them all into the streets. So that's sort of why they look like that. And then as you go forward, you start to see the, you know, the bulked up wretches. Then they have armor, so you get the full range.
Computer, show me nude wretch.
This is where
Well,
I
they'll
crack-
rip your head off.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
they do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
Alright.
DB and a wretch jumps on you, it'll rip your head
Yeah,
off. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got claws.
And teeth.
And teeth. Lots of
I
them.
think there's a line in here. You hear someone yell, "They're fucking eating people,"
They're
which
eating
they also
people.
do.
Yes.
There's one up close and personal right here.
Yeah, so we, as I mentioned, this demo kind of jumps through a level, but we're sort of tracking this storyline where they meet the other gear that's out in this part of town for the first time. So what's cool when we get to the grocery store here is obviously we find Mako, who's one of our new characters, and he's got a Vulcan, like a classic Gears weapon, but he's all alone out here. He's been holding this place.
He runs out of ammo.
Runs out of
Mako.
ammo, which is a thing that happens with him several times. Yeah, and we get to see sort of this moment, the first moment in the story of Bravo finding the other gears in the city, reconnecting and sort of becoming a squad that's part of a larger force.
Yeah, it's really cool. Little by little, you start seeing there's other soldiers out there. There's a little bit of a, command
That's
coming together to try
such
to
a
fight
cool
back
execution.
as much as they can. And that's really fun to see that evolution throughout the campaign.
This is a really big arena here. I feel like they're coming in from
We have
all-
much bigger
This one's
arenas than
small.
this.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Yeah.
Because
but
this
yeah.
almost feels like a horde map to me, where they're
Yeah.
coming in from all different directions, and you can't just hunker down in one place and
Yeah,
survive.
I mean, e-holes are iconic for a reason, right? They're cool, they've got a cool idea, but functionally, they're just a great spawn closet. As a video game mechanic, it means your enemy can pop up anywhere. We can change the front lines.
Monster
They've obviously
closet.
got strategy in with them. You can see one of the squad mates chucks a grenade in and closes it in this one. So it's just awesome to bring it back. And getting to imagine the pay and save this grocery store was so cool because, obviously an awesome Gears map. Obviously we got to flex our destruction, our lighting, our reflection systems, and it's also pulled straight out of a Gears
lore.
book, out of lore.
Yeah.
So this moment
Yeah.
that we build up to in here about this grocery store and a bayonet snapping and the reveal of Ty is us.
Yeah, so they're probably about to get into it. Hello, Locust thank you for the super chat. I love the Locust campaign during E-Day. People are gonna lose their minds in no Russian Modern Warfare 2009. Imagine their reaction to Locust brutality. Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. I wonder because they had multiplayer. They haven't mentioned it though. They've mentioned the new Horde, but they haven't mentioned a beast mode or anything like that. But yeah, so in the books it's a little bit different because here they're seems like they're going in to help this fellow gear that's in here. But in the books, or in the first book, was it the first book? Yeah, it's been so long. I'm rereading Anvil Gate right now, but it's been a long time since I reread the first two books. But basically they go in to save some civilians. And yeah, it was a year after E-Day. They went in to save some civilians, and when Marcus goes to when he's getting pinned by a locust and he goes to try to stab through his armor, their armor is really thick, and they talk about how retro lancers weren't ideal because locusts have such thick hides and armor, and so a weapon that worked well against humans in the Pendulum War no longer works, or the Pendulum Wars no longer works well against these monsters. But then Ty comes in and saves Marcus with this with a chainsaw essentially, and then it gives Marcus an idea, and then the Lancer Mark II is able to be developed. So I get like, I'm actually completely okay with this change because I would rather be able to play with the Lancer and have a reason why we're playing with the Lancer. Because otherwise, you either just like retcon it and don't acknowledge it. You're just like, the Lancer's here now, and don't say anything about it, which I wouldn't like. Or you go like super hardcore and you're like, no, you have to go the whole game without using the Lancer because we're adhering to the 1 year timeline, and the Lancer Mark II isn't created for another year, so you don't get the Mark II. And so I think this is actually a really nice compromise where we still get like the origin story pretty close. Like there's a couple tweaks, but we still get the origin of the Mark II pretty close to what it was originally. It's just kind of moved up in the timeline, and then you obviously get it worked into the gameplay. So I think that's like actually a really smart way to handle it.
Our reflection systems, and
yeah, it's not
also,
Gears
like,
without the
pulled straight
Lancer.
out of
I agree.
Gears book, out of lore. So this moment that we build up to in here about this grocery store.
I think this is a fair adjustment
of Ty. Is us sort of, we had to tweak a few things to make E-Day work, but wherever we needed to tweak the lore a little bit, we tried to really respect what's out there. And so even his dialogue is straight from the scene in the book.
Yeah,
this actually happens.
Kind of call it like a lift and shift a little bit. Like, you know, it was really important for us not to make any unnecessary retcons and, you know, keep true to kind of what was out there in the extended media. And we needed to introduce the Lancer into this game. We couldn't have a Gears game without the Chainsaw Lancer.
Hell yeah.
This moment actually takes place like a year later in the books. But it's such a fantastic scene with a character we all love, Ty.
There he is.
And to be able to bring him into
My
E-Day
beloved.
and bring him into this moment, like,
And
What an intro.
introducing
Covered in
him.
blood.
in this way, like the most quintessential Gears way ever.
Yeah.
I think it just all came together perfectly, and hopefully those, you know, hardcore fans forgive us a little bit for taking that, but we really wanted to be able to show this on screen
unbelievably
as well.
forgive you
Also, I
guys.
think people are
Like,
gonna be stoked
I
to
think
see
that's the
a chainsaw,
perfect
'cause
solution.
As soon as they see this, they're gonna go, "Oh, hold on a second, something's happening." You know, this is leading up to
Yeah,
something.
and it is, you know, it's the invention of the Chainsaw Lancer did come from a hardware store
Yeah.
chainsaw.
Yeah.
And it's so fantastic to kind of see like that origin story play out so crisply and amazing.
Viscerally.
That's the other thing is like the fact that we get to see it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like any adjustments, little adjustments to the lore that still respect the lore. To me, I'm like, that is like so easily forgiven when you let me see Ty chainsawing somebody. It's not even. There's nothing to forgive. Do you think the girls playing E-Day are gonna call themselves E-Girls? Please show yourself out.
Viscerally.
That's another great example of Ty getting covered in blood after
Yeah.
the execution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get Marcus on his back foot, and you know, there's a bunch of great things in that scene.
Yeah, so one thing that's kind of cool, that's a really small detail in here, is just we're coming out of Pendulum Wars into peace for the first time.
Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just
That's
noticed that
another
too
great
as you
example
started
of
talking
Ty
about it.
getting covered in blood
It said
after that
peacetime
execution.
sale.
Yeah, and you get Marcus on his
So yeah, so the Pendulum Wars were only over for like 6 weeks before E-Day. So they had like no breathing room to enjoy peacetime before the Locusts showed up.
And, you know, there's a bunch of great things in that scene.
Yeah,
so
look,
one thing that's
peacetime-
kinda cool,
peacetime
that's a
sale
really small
event.
detail in here is just we're coming out of the Pendulum Wars into peace for the first time.
Yeah.
We don't
6
get spent-
days. I think it was 6 weeks. I can double check my math. I thought it was like 6 weeks. Gears. If I look for Gears of War, I'll look for Emergence Day instead of E-Day. Because if I look for E-Day right now, I'm just gonna get like The pause shot goes hard. You know this. Everything in this trailer and this demo goes hard. Da, 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 da. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Attacks. 6 weeks after the signing of the peace treaty between the COG and the UIR. Okay, so it was 6 weeks. Literally only 6 weeks of peace after like 70 years of war. Yeah. The Pendulum Wars lasted a long time. And then they were like, yeah, 6 weeks of peace. And then it was like, guess what? This frame goes hard as hell.
Time in Kelowna before that happens. But what you get to see all over Kelowna is the echoes of that. So in our signage, you're seeing, victory celebrations. You're seeing
peacetime discounts.
Peacetime discounts
Yeah.
in the grocery store.
Or
you're literally
veteran
seeing, veteran centers, recruiting centers. So we weren't able. We got to pick up a gun and shoot in this game. So we're not spending hours walking around the city in peacetime, but you get to see the echoes of what could have been, the hope and everything that's lost.
I love those TVs, by the way. I think we might have had one when I was little. Wood paneling.
Big CRT.
When you were little?
All the technology in Gears has always been sort of Vietnam era.
I have one now.
Era retro tech. There's no LCD panels, they're all CRTs, and you see the cash registers are all old school. So I think all that, there's vending machines, everything just has that sort of retro vibe, and that kind of really comes together to create a style that has a through line throughout the whole game.
So one of the things that we get to show in here too is an unarmed drone. So similar to the Wretches, we wanted to introduce drones even in a new way, and we have skipped ahead a little bit in here, but you see actually in the game, before they ever see a drone pick up a gun, they just
computer
see
show me nude
try
drone
to rip you apart with its bare hands. We wanted to really emphasize that, they can use weapons, but they're just terrifying monsters that want to rip the limbs off of people.
And these unarmed drones, they show up, they do their little scream, and then they come right at you. So they're not taking cover, they don't have guns, they're just charging right at you. Yeah, they're rushing at you.
So that was not like a canned moment. That's like an emergent thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like if the player was a little bit faster on the Nasher, like you could have knocked and tackled.
And
somebody fumbled his reload on purpose.
I might have fumbled the reload maybe on purpose for demo reasons.
Wow.
Reload everybody.
That would never happen.
Everybody on the internet who is saying get good, it's a demo. There's things we have to do.
I simply would never.
Honestly, that moment is the moment that those are designed for. If you're not watching your flank, and your buddy's not watching your flank, it's a co-op game. If one of those guys spawns, they'll take you straight to the ground. But every drone has this kind of in them. If you're DBNO'd, one will jump on top of you and try to rip you apart. We have some drones who, if they DBNO, they will or drop their weapon, they will go into that rage state and come for you. So it's sort of like an extension of DBNO as a mechanic, pulled in with the drones. You saw Dom come up and save Marcus there, so they can come pull you off. You can shoot the drone from afar. So everything we build is about trying to get that, obviously the vibes of Gears, Locust, brutality, but also always thinking about how our mechanics can make the gameplay in co-op, right? It's all about the squad. I mean, it's all about never fight alone. Like that statement goes all the way down to what the smallest mechanic in the game about how a drone feels when it tackles you and takes you to the ground.
One thing to look at here with the close-up of Marcus, we always have close-ups in our game just to kind of flex where our character fidelity is. We would never have been able to do this kind of camera, with where we were before. So obviously that has a lot to do with the engine. Technology's moved a lot, nanite. There's a bunch of things that have come together to allow us to get this close. We really revamped completely the way we capture our character performances, the way we model their likeness, all the poor detail, all that stuff. The groom, you're seeing groom in gameplay and cinematics for the first time. It's all based on little geometry cards, and that looks fine, but it can only take you a certain way. So there's a lot of firsts that you're seeing with the characters, and that shot of Marcus getting choked out is a good example.
This kind of reminded me, I got a little bit of a flashback of General Rom, lifting up.
Yeah.
Original
We've got some good callbacks in this game. I think people are going to find a lot of really cool, we all have our favorite moments from Gears, right? Across all the games. And a lot of them are echoed in here. Like we're not trying to one-to-one them, but the
Just nod at
E-Day is like for us was a journey on talking about the vibes and moments in past Gears games. And like I said, we're going to build a new game from scratch, nothing ported, like all from scratch. But how much of that, the way it plays, the nostalgia, the way it feels, the story beats, the characters, the vibes, the music, the look, everything. So I think people will find, like you said, like there's a callback to like that moment with Rom. They're all over the place in this game.
Love it.
Like
It's like a homecoming.
Yeah.
It's like
I was so
getting
excited
back
to like
the roots of what
try and
makes
find
Gears
them.
so special, and you kind of find it across the entire game.
So obviously, you know, I've said a couple times I kind of rebuilt everything from scratch. There's just more fluidity, more mantling, all that stuff. But one of the biggest additions we made to the game is the idea, we added a jump button to Gears, which in the past has been really tough to figure out, but we worked hard on it and we found a way to just blend it into our movement, keep the heaviness. It's not a platforming game. We're not going to give you giant like levels where you have to jump, climb, but you can see even just in this little moment in the grocery store, it opens up flanking routes, right? You can now jump up, get on top of trucks. I get on top of the freezer here, pop over to another place, drop behind somebody, still risk reward, right? You can't see always where you're going. You might drop into a place and get surrounded. Your buddy's got to get over there and pick you up. You know, I think in the dev direct, you see little clips of some of the larger arenas and they have, you know, a couple stories of verticality. They have multiple routes. And across the game, we were just able to sort of expand and tweak how you see the battlefield.
What button is the jump button?
Well, what's your control setting? Yeah, I mean, every Gears game has added and subtracted mechanics because there is a limited number of buttons on the controller. There are trade-offs for sure. There are things that were in the original games that you won't find here because we did build it from scratch and we decided where we wanted to put buttons and certain mechanics. There are things for sure in the future we might look at bringing back as we layer in mechanics and stuff like that. But we wanted to really focus on what it would be like to take the pillars of Gears movement and combat and build a game around those pillars, but in 2026, right? Like, what would that look like?
Think about
like,
that.
what would that? Well, I was like, when did we
Doesn't sound
start
right.
and when did we end? But what would it look like to build a game around those same pillars that?
Did they ever change how hard the screen shakes? I'm grinding through one. The screen going crazy all the time kills me. It's like an earthquake just walking. I think you can adjust it in the settings. At least I thought you could. I thought there was like a screen shake option for some reason. Sorry, I'm catching up. Yeah. Drone's reproduction is literally the I love women that would just straight up kill me. Yeah, I actually love... Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Sorry, I'm losing... I think a message... Oh, was there a misclick? I was gonna say... Was there a misclick? I think I was about to respond to that message, a message I was reading too. The grind lifts. Yeah, the grind lifts in 2 are one of my favorite things. I just think it's really cool. I just think it's like a cool concept, I guess. Being in a tube that just like drills down, and the way that they're like, they kind of come down off of, and people get like stuck in them, and that's kind of fucked up. Like, I think there's just a lot of interesting and cool things that come out of the grind. I just enjoy. I I just enjoy the grind lifts for some reason. They didn't say what the jump button was. They said... it depends on your control scheme. So I'm guessing? I'm guessing that it'll depend on, because I assume that they're gonna have like different defaults, and then hopefully you can assign stuff to certain buttons too, just to make it feel good for you. I'm trying to imagine what button I would even want it to be on. Just knowing how Gears feels. I'm not sure what would feel best for me. But also I too would love a Clayton spinoff. I want Clayton to have his own game. I would play that. I would play the Clayton standalone spinoff. I can't wait to mantle a fridge and get popped in multiplayer. That's just me coming home from work. I play Gears on stick. Yeah, I'm not sure. If there's a screen, there has to be a screen shake option. Grind lifts allegedly can go back up. A for me, yeah. B for me, maybe left bumper. It's interesting that everybody has like different opinions. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like logistically where I would want it to fall.
To take the pillars of Gears movement and combat and build a game around those pillars, but in 2026, right? Like, what would that look like?
Think about
like,
that.
what would that? Well, I was like, when did we start and when did we end?
Yeah.
But what would it look like to build a game around those same pillars that the original Gears was built about, but do it today? Yeah.
This is the exact moment that the Lancer becomes the retro Lancer, I feel like.
Yeah,
It's
there you go. Exactly.
the moment of obsolescence.
Except, of course, you can still get them and still cut guys' heads off.
Yeah, and it's still really fun.
Yeah. By the way, there's another tiny little thing tucked in here, which is Marcus has a couple of iconic scars in the other games.
The lip scar.
One of them he gets in prison, so you're not going to see in this game, but one of them he gets on his lip right there.
Yay!
So all the Marcuses in the future, this was it. This is when he got it.
Drone's like, I'm gonna give you a little nick.
There's one origin story left to tell. The origin of the do-rag. We'll leave that for.
Our roads converge again.
We should talk actually about who is playing Ty, because we have a new actor playing Ty Kaliso.
Oh.
Matthew
yeah.
Heta Morris from New Zealand. He's the arm wrestling
I saw.
champion.
Yeah, I saw the coverage of this.
That's how he got the role.
He is Ty.
He is
Ty.
Ty. This is his first game. He is a wonderful, wonderful human, and he really embodies, Ty's spirit and
physicality.
And just a fantastic all-around person.
And tattoos.
Yeah, and tattoos. So just really excited to kind of like bring Ty, into 2026.
He's literally just Ty.
About who is playing Ty.
He's literally just Ty.
Playing Ty Kaliso, Matthew.
He's just Ty. They just went out in the world and said, we're just gonna find Ty to play Ty. Ty IRL. This man looks like he could break my arm. Yeah, this dude, the arm wrestling champion, is like, you just created Ty Kaliso in a government bunker. I love him. I saw some coverage of this. I caught wind of this, and I was like, this. I love this immediately.
Wonge Heta Morris from New Zealand. He's the arm wrestling champion of New
Arm wrestling
Zealand.
champion of New Zealand.
Is that how he got the role?
He is Thai.
He is
Thai.
This
He
is
is Thai.
his first game. He is a wonderful, wonderful human, and he really embodies, Thai's spirit and is
And physicality.
and just a fantastic all-around
And
person.
tattoos.
Yeah, and tattoos. So just really excited to kind of like bring Thai, into 2026. He's such a small part of Gears 2.
But yet such a fan favorite.
Such a
we
fan
were like,
favorite.
Because he's
And
the
it was
best.
an easy decision. It was like, who do we want to spend more time with? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, Thai.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so we left a little treat at the end, obviously, just some smash cuts of things from across the campaign, which is, of course, just part of the game, but there's all sorts of stuff tucked in these
There's so
shots.
much there.
There's so much there. There's like snippets of the,
New enemies.
even though it's all in one city, we get a huge range of environments, time of day, we go to the outskirts, you're seeing new enemies, like the bile frog in there.
I was
and
wondering,
some
I
other
was,
stuff.
yeah.
Bile
I
frog.
feel like, yeah, it was spitting emulsion.
He's spitting acid. So
Oh,
the cool, there's lots of emulsion in the game. He's spitting acid. The cool thing about Locust coming from the Hollows is
He is
they
frog.
enslave essentially Hollows creatures. So there's this untapped, like you want to imagine a creature exists in the Hollow. A frog that spits acid? Hell yeah. And, Gears is awesome at that stuff. We've had that rockworms and all sorts of things in the past, but just this idea that anything could come out from underground. And we got to play with that. It's a nice mix
Frog.
of reimagining enemies we had and new enemies.
God, it
Definitely
looks
a
so
few more that
good.
aren't in there. So
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we
There's
got
some
doesn't give
surprises.
everything
We
away.
didn't
Sure,
give
yeah,
everything
yeah.
away.
Just some brief teases.
There's a couple other little just.
Let's run back through that
Yeah,
again.
there's a
Yeah, I
couple
was gonna
awesome little
say,
moments in here. You're gonna
My
see.
pause.
I think you'll see glimpses of new.
Look at
weapons.
how thick he is! If EA's the first Gears of War game I ever played would take place at the beginning of the game's chronological timeline. Yeah. I think it will be the earliest chronological game.
Just some brief teases.
There's a
Yeah.
couple
Look at how
little-
thick the boomer
Yeah,
is.
there's a couple awesome little moments.
He's
in
so
here. You're gonna
thick.
See, I think you'll see glimpses of new weapons. We have a locust shotgun that fires raw emulsion and literally melts the skin off of people. Now you see a boomer execution in there, so if you get him to low health, you can actually take him down to the ground and cut his head off.
Boomer
He's not that big,
execution.
He's
No.
real beefy.
I mean, he was in our minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now he is that big
Yeah.
in real life.
I
He's
think
like,
that's part of taking what we and fans remember and love from the old
Yeah.
games and then adding a bit more to it. So I think the boomer's 8 or 9 feet tall.
9 feet.
he's like over 9 feet
He
tall.
can't go through doorways, so he has to bust his way in, and
he
he
Kool-Aid
just looks
Man's his
awesome. In
way.
this way. That's why he's got to come down to a knee if you're going to take his head off.
Yeah,
So, you gotta-
and all these guys we were able to because we rebuilt it from scratch. We just, we didn't want you to just fight an enemy the way you had in the past. So you got too close to a boomer, he'll knock you and throw you back across the playing field. Of course, he's also going to yell boom and shoot. And actually, you'll see he's got a new. This is the proto boom shot. He's this big, heavy boom shot. It's different from the ones we've had in other games. But we were able to add little gameplay mechanics that essentially took what was cool about that Locust unit and create a more enhanced version of it that impacts how you play the game.
Yeah, you see the Reavers. They're not just flying by you.
Yeah, they're not just turreting in the middle of the ground. They'll fly and stick to a wall and crawl along it.
Yeah.
They
Or
drop
fly
off
and
guys.
drop off guys.
Yeah, they
Or
drop,
they drop off guys. Yeah. So I mean, again, it takes the imagining of Emergence Day and what you have in your imagination, and it brings it to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aria, Nicole, Matt, thank you so much for that tour of Kelowna while it still remains. Just a little bit of that. I just want to talk a little bit before I let you go. It's the 20th anniversary of Gears. I still remember in 2006, before I ever worked in the industry, playing with my buddy John Adams. We're playing E-Day together. I will find you. We will play this game together. But I'm just curious, what does that anniversary mean to you? And how has Gears remained so resonant for people after 2 decades?
Yeah, it's a big deal to us. It means a lot to work on a franchise that's been around for so long. And I think it's exactly that. It's the memories you make with people. It's the experiences, whether you're playing the game in co-op and, you know, the game presenting you these really fun moments that stick in your mind, perhaps like the first time you saw the Berserker, or, you know, playing co-op together, playing Versus or playing Horde. Ultimately, a lot of it comes down to the memories you've made, as well as I think just a lot of the elements of Gears that are just so enduring. The characters, their stories, Marcus and Dom, what they've gone through, the elements like the chainsaw lancer, the over-the-top thing. So I think there's a lot in Gears that just, you know, creates this enduring longevity that will be around for a long time. And it's really just, I think, an honor for us to be able to kind of steward that into the future.
Yeah, I think for sure it is an honor, but I think there's also kind of a little more personal side. Like a lot of the people that you know, have been doing this for a long time that work in this building remember when Gears 1 came out. I remember when I was young in my career looking at the things they were doing at Epic, the art pipelines and the workflows. It was really industry leading. It blew our minds. And we had to kind of like buy the books and look through the making ofs and stuff like that because information wasn't quite as readily available. And so to be able to sort of work on a game and add to that legacy and add to that franchise personally is a real honor and kind of a full circle moment.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I don't necessarily think when we started with E-Day that we were like targeting like 20th anniversary, but we did feel in the studio, all of us being huge fans, a bunch of us having worked on Gears for quite a while now and feeling that ownership and sort of like importance of continuing the legacy. It did feel when it ended up lining up, E-Day and this, it did feel like it made sense, right? That we had this vision of this game we wanted to make that was about, you know, making a game a story we wanted to tell about those franchise icons, about kind of the emotional core of Gears. And obviously like every Gears game has taken some swings and we wanted to take some too. And it just felt like an awesome time for us to line it up with that moment.
Well, thanks for bringing us like, you know, new gameplay to look at. I'm very hyped up. The release date was announced. October 6th is when we're going to be playing this. Yeah. But there's ways to get your hands on the sticks to try out that active reload before that. Can you tell us about what's going on
for
this
sure.
summer?
We're going to have some betas this summer. Obviously, we want people to come and play, feel the game. Betas are a great way for us to test the game. That's what they're for, but it's a great introduction to the way the game plays, seeing bits of Kelowna, and just a way to jump in and get back into Gears with your friends.
Make some more memories.
What's the best way to follow the Coalition and Gears between now and then to find out the latest when those things go live?
Gears of War on almost every platform.
Yeah, we're going to have more stuff to talk about between now and launch, so we're excited to show things, and this is just the beginning.
We cannot wait. So we will be tuned in. We will try to get you back, but you should go back and make the game and finish the game. We'll let you do that, and we will let you go as well. We have a ton more content coming out of the Summer Game Fest and from Xbox Game Showcase, so check that out wherever you're watching this podcast. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.
Where's Maple gonna fly the betas? I was actually just looking in my email because I pre-ordered the collector's edition, and I was like they must, because I know you get, I think you get beta access with the collector's edition. And so yeah, I'm pretty sure you get beta access with the collector's edition. There we go. Shout out to the dude with the stormtrooper armor. Is this the earliest would be an origin story for Gears? So this is like an origin story to kind of the Gears world that we know, because there's a bunch of stuff in the Gears world that happened before the Locust invasion, but that's mostly in like the books and the comics. But as far as the game world of Gears, this really is like, the origin of kind of what we know is the game world of Gears. Ugh. Um. Yeah. Yeah, I pre-ordered the collector's edition. I kind of want to replay the series before E-Day. Do it. I just re-streamed the whole after E-Day was announced. I streamed I streamed the original trilogy plus Judgment, and then I re-streamed Reloaded when it came out. For E-Day Collector's Edition. Oh, you already got the beta downloaded and ready for August. Wait, where did you get your code from? I pre-ordered mine from the Xbox store. Oh, maybe it came in a separate email? I was just looking at my receipt, but that's probably not where it would be. Yeah, Hoffman needs you to replay the whole trilogy. He demands it. Xbox. It was emailed to you. It should be in there. Okay. I may just be a fool. this has happened many times before. So yeah, I'll interrogate my email after stream. I'm sure it's in here. I was like, I need to get this thing downloaded. I need to get this code punched in. Years. Just type in Gears beta into my search. Yeah, I would be down for a Pendulum Wars game actually, because I think that would be really cool. That would be really cool, and I'm also like a big Helena stan. So like let me behold her. Let me behold her in full moving 3D, showing me like what a cool, strong, tough badass she is. Where's my Pendulum Wars game? I am the most like I love Anya. I love Anya so much, but like every time Hoffman like reminisces about her mom in the books, it's just the most you're your mother's daughter, except your mother was a huge fucking badass. She just seems like the coolest. But there's just a lot of like interesting stuff in the Pendulum Wars because the locations are interesting. The different fronts that you could fight on. Some of the combatant stuff would be interesting, just the way that they recruited from different, more independent nations, in order to fill up their rosters. It would be interesting because you would just see a lot more cultures of Sarah than you usually see in the Gears games. There's just more, various cultures present in the armies. It would be really cool. I want to see more of the UIR, honestly. Yeah. That would be cool. I mean, I want like an infinite number of Gears games that show me an infinite number of Gears possibilities. I've grown greedy. My greed sickens me. A couple of years ago, I would have been like, if I get an E-Day game, I'll never need anything else ever again, and I'll die happy. And now I've gotten my E-Day game, and I'm like, now I want the world. I want there to be no more worlds to conquer. To conquered. Like Fallout 4. No more worlds to conquer. Your greed is absolute. I gotta keep manifesting. I gotta manifest. Gears Genshin like insane. Yeah, I mean, this is my wish list. This is my wish list. So, so that's a good point about the Hammer of Dawn. Yeah, more of the UIR. These guys managed to make the COG sweat for almost 100 years. They made the Hammer of Dawn before the COG acquired it. Yeah, so the COG stole the plans to the Hammer of Dawn, in an operation, and that would actually be. I would love. So that's the other thing is I've been wondering how they're going to kind of introduce the idea of Carlos, because if you just jump straight into Marcus and Dom, it's going to be a little confusing if you haven't read the books. And I think based on what we've seen so far, like with them adhering to the creation of the Mark II Lancer and just kind of bringing it up in the timeline, I think there's a lot of care that's going into the narrative. And so I trust. And so I don't think they're just going to be like, here's Marcus and Dom, have a good time. And so I think and like obviously in the trailer they show the photograph of Carlos, and they talked about him in the direct, and so I think they're going to address Carlos. They could make it into the intro Carlos last mission, so that's exactly what I would really like that. I would really, really, really like that. So basically the mission where Carlos died was the mission where they stole the Hammer of Dawn plans. And so it is a very, lore-wise, it's a very significant operation. It's a really significant, happening in the universe, in the history. Add a Carlos DLC about Operation Leveler. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and if you go straight into it and they're showing the picture and they're showing Marcus and Dom at the bar, like Marcus and Carlos were the boys. Like Carlos was Marcus's, like his brother forever. And then Carlos died, and it kind of became like, okay, we're bonded. We have a bond. It wasn't what either of us had with Carlos, and then obviously Marcus and Dom become like very close and become brothers. And so I think it would, even if we don't get to play it, I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna at least show what happens to Carlos. And I'm just like, I don't know. I know I'm coping. I know I'm coping because I want to see it and I want to see Carlos. I mean, I don't want to see Carlos die because it's really sad. But it's kind of like a brutal way to go. But it would be really cool if we got, a little peek at Operation Leveler. If we got a little peek at the battle of Asfo, that would be really cool. Yeah, like the tutorial flashback in the Gears 4 intro. Yeah. And the other thing is you know who else died in Operation Leveler? Helena Stroud. Show me the size of her thighs. I know they have to be thick as hell. I haven't asked for anything recently. Uh-oh. She's so normal. Maple, control yourself. I can't, bro. I can't. I'm too excited. Oh, yeah. Maybe non-book readers deserve to be confused. No, that's the thing is, I obviously love the books and I love all the like supplementary media, but I also love it when people, that's one of the reasons that I like ranting about lore and I love doing little like lore recaps and here's what you need to know and stuff like that, because I think everybody, regardless of their willingness or ability, whether it's because they just aren't big readers or because they don't have time to sit down and read a book, I think everybody deserves to know all of the cool stuff that, especially when it's such a good story and it's such a like great world and so well written. I think everybody deserves to know all the tidbits. So, but I trust based on what I've seen so far and the care put into those little touches. I'm extremely optimistic that they're going to find an elegant way to kind of share the Carlos of it all in order to emotionally set up where Marcus and Dom are at. That's my theory. Because I think they talked about it in the direct too, right? They were kind of like, they're still kind of struggling a little. I'll replay the games because Hoffman's wife asks me to. Which one? Wait, did he ever officially marry Bernie? I don't know why I thought Googling Hoffman was going to give me anything but Dustin Hoffman, but you better believe it did. Did he ever marry Bernie or did they... Because I know that they were like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Nah, just says girlfriend. I don't know if they ever officially got hitched. But Horace Hoffman's wife is dead. She got fucking cooked. Quite literally. She she can suplex me anyway. She was a lawyer. Maple's like Operation Leveler, more like Operation Level Her. Am I right, fellas? Fuck. I know Hoffman's wife got fucking leveled. I'm being so mean to Margaret. I need to know she's cool. I'm just being out of pocket for no reason. That's exactly why he was afraid of her. So true. No, so like literally Hoffman's wife, she was a lawyer and was very, you know, she was super intelligent and very like she was very cool. She had a cool aura. But then when he was part of the team that knew that the hammer strikes were coming, when they hammered of Don everybody and everything, she was basically like, fuck you, I'm out of here. I gotta go get my sister. And she pieced out and then got annihilated. She got gamered. She got absolutely deleted. So you saying that you'll play the trilogy when Hoffman's wife tells you to is the most I'm not gonna play the trilogy sort of comment that you could make unintentionally. We love women that aura farm. Wow, thanks! I didn't say when. I said because. Oh, okay. Well, this is good to know you're either time traveling or she's talking to you from beyond the grave. So glad that we could contact Margaret in our time of need. As bad as the Hammer of Dawn was, let's be honest, humanity would have never won the war without it. Bring back my giant laser, go grrr! Yeah, and that's like one thing that I think is really interesting too about the books is how everybody struggles with that, and they're kind of like, was it necessary? But what else could we do? But it was a crazy, irreversible thing that we've done, but what other choice do we have? And they kind of go back and forth, which is really, I like a lot of the inner monologues and even the outer monologues too about it is just really, I just love the story, man. So I can't stop thinking about what a sick burn. I'm gonna say that from now on when I don't want to do something. When you guys are like, finish playing Sonic and the Secret Rings, I'm gonna be like, I'll do it when Hoffman's wife tells me to. Was it morally bad? Yes. Was it necessary? Also, yes. Was it cool to watch a giant laser go boom? Absolutely, Lamau. Mabel, can you stream the Sonic? I'll do it when Hoffman's wife tells me to. When are you going to quit the gas league job when Hoffman's wife tells me to? Oh, God. No, I can't quit my job now. I need to make sure everybody buys and plays Gears of War E-Day. I can't quit now. I've gotten myself into a situation. I've found myself in a situation. You'll regret saying that when I find her on Cameo. If somebody makes a Hoffman's wife account, it just has to have like a pile of ashes with some teeth as an icon. If you want to be lore accurate. Jesus Christ. Maybe Hoffman's wife will be in the game. Oh, God. When are you hopping on Final Fantasy 11? I can't do it tonight because I have a really early meeting tomorrow, so I actually have to go to bed really soon. So that I wake up on time and I'm not super sleepy. And tomorrow night I'm streaming Bubsy. And then Thursday I'm streaming Fallout. But then Friday, I actually have most of the day off. But I told one of the other work moms and some of the Zoomers who asked me to go with them that I would go watch the World Cup game with them on Friday. I don't know anything about sports. I'm an extremely which is fun. The only sport I know anything about is basketball. Cuz I played basketball in high school. But other than basketball, you ask me anything about any sport and I fall apart instantly, especially American football and then real football. I have no idea what's going on at any time. Yeah, the only sport I know is thrash ball. You went to wrestling camp, right? Yeah, I went to wrestling camp, but that's like wrestling, at least wrestling in the way that I went to camp for wrestling. I went to camp for WWE wrestling. I didn't go to camp for real wrestling. I went to like, how do you hit the ropes right so that you don't concuss yourself wrestling camp. I went for how do you look like you're choking somebody out without actually committing a crime. That was the camp I went to. Next model, Hoffman's wife. I just spit all over my microphone because I started laughing. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna be bubbing out tomorrow. You can dunk, not anymore. Probably never, actually. You should hit your boss with the stone cold stunner. I did show him, I showed him that tweet today of the, I accidentally said I need to kill myself in front of my 40-year-old manager, and he looked at me like this with the picture of the sad dog. And I showed it to him and he went, ha ha ha, is that me? But yeah, I said they're all excited. They're like, Maple, come to the World Cup game with us on Friday. I mean, we're not going to the World Cup game. We don't live there, but they wanted me to come to the local bar and watch it with them. And I was like, I don't know what's gonna be going on, but I'll hang out with you guys. So I'll be there for a little while, but I probably won't be there too late. 'Cause the game's how long do football? How long do football games usually last? It's starting at 3 p.m. local time. You pay off the bar to play Doom 2005 instead. Everyone gets so mad at me. How long? Look up how long do football games last. Not American football. Soccer. 90 minutes of regulation play split into two 45-minute halves plus a 15-minute half break. So about 2 hours in total, it looks like. Theoretically, an hour and a half, so 3 hours. Okay. So I'll probably be home, like, by dinner time, because the bar isn't too far from where it's, like, a little far, but it's not too far from where I live. What's that in Final Fantasy XI? Travel distance / time. Oh, the timer stops a lot. It'll probably be fine. But so I might be on Friday night, depending on how things go. Clearly, you should hit up the local Hooters for your after game. I don't even know if we have a Hooters. What's the closest Hooters? Where we got? Are you? There are currently no active Hooters locations operating in the state of Maine. Hello? Excuse me? Closest Hooters is your house, boss. So true. One's right next door. Never mind. I'd have to drive all the way to Massachusetts. I'd have to drive all the way to Massachusetts to visit a Hooters. That's crazy. No yiddies allowed, I guess. We need to launch Operation Goth Hooters. Maple, you need to move. We can create Hag Hooters. Buy Stephen King's house and convert it to a Hooters. I actually... Stephen King had a house for sale in his... Well, it's not like his neighborhood. He's moved. He lives more in the lakes now. But he still maintains his like house that has always been thought of as it's Stephen King's house. And I think he runs his charity out of it. And it's a very cool looking house. So that house isn't for sale, but his next door neighbor was. And I was like, I could be Stephen King's old house's next door neighbor. So I sent it to Mom and Pop Moose and I was like, I need some help with something. And they were like, no. But we could buy that house and open a Hooters next door to Stephen King's old house. We could get the next best thing. Hooters Skeb. Yeah, they ain't letting you live the dream. And we Hooter 5 Martha Stewart's main house. We have to bring Hooters to Maine so that I have somewhere to watch the game. You could move next to Horace's dad's neighbor and open a Hooters with the help of John McAfee. I forgot that your dad has John McAfee living next to him. But yeah, so I'm gonna be there on Friday, but I shouldn't be out that late. I'm not a partier anymore. I can't hang with the kids. I always wind up going home well before my bedtime because I get sleepy. Is that bars? I think the McAfee doppelganger has disappeared. Yeah, because somebody probably recognized him and he had to relocate. In fact, it was probably your dad that recognized him. But yeah, so I might be on Friday night, but then Saturday I'm playing Metroid during the day, but I might log on at night. But I'm playing Metroid during the day, and then Sunday's Father's Day, so I'm gonna be visiting Papa Moose. I'm gonna be visiting Papa Moose and trying to get all the stuff out of their yard that Mama Moose keeps putting there to attract bears so she can look at them. As soon as I saw a text from her come in that said, "Guess who came to dinner?" I was like, how many bears are in the yard right now? Immediately, just a giant freaking black bear. I was like, come on. Brother. All she has to do is throw a sandwich out there each day. She'll get her bears back. The bears didn't go anywhere. I was just like, were you feeding them? And she was like, no, but they're really cute. And then Pop Moose was immediately like, yeah, they tore the bird feeders down. I was like, why do you have your bird feeders up in June? That's why the bear is there. So you were feeding them. It's what you're saying to me. So you were feeding the bears. I see. Okay. Yeah, I'll get them someday. Why are we talking about bears? My mom refuses to take her bird feeders down in the summer, and then a bunch of bears show up in her yard, and she's like, look at all these cute bears I have, and I'm like, you're gonna get killed. And she's like, but they're so cute. And she just gets so happy about it, and I'm just like, oh my god. You really are the bear lady from Northwood's Law. We have to watch that episode so you guys can see what I have to live with. I mean, I don't have to live with it because I don't live with them, but spiritually what I have to live with. Yeah, he is a little chonkster though. I will admit he's very cute, but I'm also like, stop leaving food out. It was like there was a time, I think I posted about it in the Discord, like as it was happening. She was like, all these raccoons keep hanging out on my porch. And I was like, why? And she like, I saw one night when I walked by the door, and there's just the fattest raccoon I've ever seen in my life sitting outside. And I was like, why do you have so many raccoons? And she was like, somebody keeps leaving food out. I would like to point out that Mama and Papa Moose live in the woods. They can't even see their neighbors at all. Like, you can't see any of their neighbors from their house. And she has the gall to say to me, someone keeps leaving out food. Like, someone would walk into their yard and leave food out and leave. And I was, yeah, it was the most who shot Hannibal thing she's ever said to me. And I was like, somebody? Like, who is somebody? And she was like, I've been leaving out food. I was like, come on! Oh. Ugh. I'm just like, you're so lucky Fishing Game isn't kicking your shit in yet. If anyone deserves it, it's them. Yeah, those dastardly bears are leaving food for the raccoons. So true, a raccoon did it to attract other raccoons. Oh, they're crazy. They have lost it, but at least it's entertaining. But yeah, it is at least a very cute bear. When I look at it, I'm like, ooh, he's a chunker. He's a chunker. Ugh, all right. Well, that was a good podcast. I'm extremely excited for E-Day. Oh, I'm so excited. And it's in less than 4 months now. It's like 3.5 months, especially for us early access bros. So 3.5 months. I only have to wait 3.5 months. Deep breaths. I'll get through this. I'm so excited. Oh my god. And we do get the beta. We get the beta. So I'll at least we'll be able to play with the beta before. So I have to wait even less time. Deep breaths, deep breaths. What's your head of the next 10 years? You become the lady with the porch filled with fat raccoons. I would simply adopt some raccoons into my house and like I don't have to bait wild ones. I'll just go get some raccoons who need rehabilitation. I'll just chill with them. I feel like I kind of eat like a raccoon anyways. Just scrounging together whatever leftovers I can find. So would your dad ever enact castle doctrine on the bears? He's threatened it multiple times and Mama Moose is always like, no. In fact, she sent me a video. They had a fence in their backyard and a bear got on top of it and did like a somersault and ripped the top of it off, and it's all on camera. And Mama Moose is like, oh, so cute. And you can hear Papa Moose just off camera going, I'm gonna get one of my guns. The raccoon are her drone guard. Isn't a moose kind of like a little raccoon? Yeah, actually. Yeah, it's little raccoon vibes. You still got that vid? I'm sure I do. I'll have to dig through my texts, but when she sent it to me, I just like put my head in my hands, sat in the darkness for a while. We're like La Criatura. Yeah, so true. All right. Damn gross. I am going to go get cozy. Since I have a very early meeting, so I have to make sure I'm asleep soon so I can wake up for it. But I will be back tomorrow to play more Bubsy. I'm sure I'll be ranting about Gears of War more while I play Bubsy, since that's apparently what I do. Yeah, I'm so excited for E-Day. That was such a good podcast. I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm so excited. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Bubsy of War. Yeah, I'll be back on YouTube tomorrow for Bubsy, and I'll be on Twitch Thursday for Fallout 4 and Saturday for Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, your afternoon. Thank you for Gearstream / Hoffman wife propaganda. I hope you guys have a good rest of your morning or afternoon or whatever it is wherever you are. And oh, to Margaret!